got no trouble.
Okay, we'll call the, it's not on. We'll call the May 8th, 2026 work session, Rural Fire work session to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day we had today. Pray that you'll be with us tonight. We'll make decisions that honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. We really don't have much of an agenda other than rural fire. So Greg's kind of the Greg, do you want to? This one sounds like fun.
The other one sounds good, is what Hiro's saying.
So Greg, do you want to kind of start the discussion?
Sure. I don't know if I need that or not, but I'll try. All right, good evening. I'm glad you all were able to make it. Tonight's topic is fire protection for Kismet and rural Seward County. We ask that everyone provide their insights of how we can improve fire suppression in Seward County. Ask any questions you have. Others may also want to know the answers as well. To begin the conversation, it has been brought forward as an option that a new fire district be established in rural Seward County. It seems to be a popular solution to those in attendance at our meeting about a week ago here at City Hall, and may be the best way forward. The new fire district would make use of all resources available, other county agencies, farmers with discs and water, surrounding fire departments and all state resources, etc. As well as coordination of communications and tactics. The new fire district would allow for faster response outside the liberal area and help preserve the ISO rating of Kismet. In short, we intend to build a professional department in a rapid time frame. I know that everyone here appreciates the efforts of the Seward County firefighters from Liberal, but we need a system that is effective and maximizes use of resources on every fire. If the Board of County Commissioners want to add anything, I'd say it's open to discussion, and those that like to comment, feel free to do so.
Good. Yeah, we didn't have much for an agenda because it's just basically a work session for discussion. So we have one working mic. So anybody want to comment on ideas? Trying to move forward with.
I would like to.
Very good.
This is Bob McVeigh. I've been here forever. Well, not forever. I was born here. The rural fire district started with farmers. Dwayne Lambert, my dad Hobart McVeigh, John Masoni, and there was one other, can't think of his name. They went and got a deuce and a half, fixed it up as a fire truck. They got up with another, and I think we had 2 or 3 fire trucks from them deuce and a halves, and that's the way we fought it. And it didn't matter if it was Plains, Liberal, anywhere, they fought the fires. And that's the most important thing. Who does it doesn't matter. What matters is we have fire protection. And this group, I think, probably would all volunteer. But I hope we can get it all bound together and get it done. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'd
think setting up some kind of text message.
I'm
You know,
sorry?
We can get on a group text, or not necessarily group text, but we can sign up for some kind of emergency response text. Hey, there's a fire in Kismet, or, drop a pin, and we can sign up for it. It sends it out to the people who have signed up for that group text. Because I was on the other side of my shop, at my farm. I had no idea there was a fire in Kismet. And I got a call from Brett Reese, and so we hopped in the tractor, and thankfully we got there in time. And I have a 6x6 Army truck that I have set up for a fire truck because I get there before you guys. Pretty much every time. So whether it's a tractor or a water truck, whenever we see high winds, we make sure all our tankers are filled, and we have 4 or 5 spots that you guys can come fill with water. There's no reason for you to ever go back to town.
And I know that's something they're supposed to be working on is a list.
Well, that's pretty simple.
Right.
This should already be done. I've talked to, the previous fire chief, so
Right.
that's something would take about one day, one person
Well-
walking around with other farmers.
Yeah, right. In my world, I'm like you one day, but, you've got to, where can we fill up water at, things like that.
I mean, the dairy has a 4-inch fast fill,
Right.
and they have multiple times, so both sides.
But that needs to be on a list with the
Yeah,
fire department
I
that they have that list.
Yeah.
So,
I'd say communication is key. You
Right.
communicate, we can get there and get it stopped. And a
But-
disc is gonna do it 99% of the time. But we need
Yeah.
someone's based out of Kismet. At least one person, or at least leave the door unlocked.
yeah, I'm not sure where we at on the list, April. Kind of,
We've been working with Valerie in communications. She has a list started.
okay. Because it also needs to be kind of by area. You don't want to get a text for a fire that's up.
I
by
have ground everywhere, all over
Okay.
the county. Doesn't matter. I go east of Liberal 1 mile from county line to the county line.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, can I get your name?
Rocky Warmiston.
Rocky, I should know you, but thank you.
The younger one.
Anybody?
I know your dad, for sure. And then we know your daughter, your little blonde one with the grills.
So, Clay, you got anything?
I actually am. I've been trying to get this done for a month and I can't get nothing done. Or 2 months, since February 17th, and we still don't have that list done, and I've been after this hard.
I mean, I had a group text with John and Jeff and I, and we pretty much just tell each other when there's a fire and where. And we're there before everyone, no matter what time of night.
And so we have a list started. I don't know that we have contact numbers to do a text message.
Just ask.
The
I can
list.
get you all of them guys.
The list that communications has started, they would,
We'll even invite all the farmers with the fire department to have them to talk. Maybe even we have radios so that we don't get in each other's way. Or they can say, we need you 2 miles east
Yeah.
of here really, and not where you're at. Can you come help? That would be nice if we could have radios so we had charged in our shops, grab them, hop into the tractors and go.
Yeah, I mean, that's key, and we tried to do that a couple of years ago, and
I said that to Andrew too.
it
Okay.
just hit a wall.
Brady, I don't know if you can speak to the radios. Brady and I have had the discussion about radios because the funny elephant in the room is, I needed a radio and that got blown completely out of proportion. But we used to, when people would show up at the command center, we could issue radios to people. And I know at one of the recent fires, Brady passed out radios to some of the mutual aid, the other counties, because they couldn't communicate with our radios, so he had some radios on hand. But Brady, I will let you speak to that.
Yeah. First, as far as the text messaging, that's in the works with dispatch, that they have to do a Spillman update that hasn't been updated for, I think, a couple of years now. So that is in the works where, my understanding, they can make a circle and automatically alert everyone that's on the list, and really they can alert everyone that's not on the list also. If your phone's in that circle, they can force your phone to go off and alert you.
Perfect.
We have a communications board meeting next week, and I think Valerie was going to update us on that. But that's in the works currently with their director. The radios. I'm not sure the fire department has enough to pass out. Like, we have some that we can pass out to people that show up.
Could we buy our own?
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely. There are federal channels set aside that doesn't have to be any part of state template. Like, we use a couple of them already that they don't go to the radio tower. They're just radio to radio. So that is something that we can utilize. Because no, I'm completely with you. Last week we went to Road and Bridge and had a training there. And my big thing is, I'm scared to put people right on the fire line. Like, if you guys are cutting fire lines, you don't have to be on the fire line. Like, I'm more, hey, let's get it out. My trucks can slow it down. You guys can get out in front of it. If you guys cut 100-yard wide fire line, like, once it hits it, it stops on these grass fires that we're having. But communication is going to be huge because instead of playing phone tag constantly, I know the radios do help out. That is something that I'm wanting to do in the future. Is we've done Road to Bridge now. Now we need to do the farmers, that everyone understands a command structure and where all this information can relay back from what you guys are seeing and dangers you're seeing, or hey, someone's house is here, because that's my number one priority is always life safety. If you know someone's there, then that's our number one priority, where we can all be on the same page and get it knocked out. But we have, before long, we'll have a new emergency manager in place, and I know they have additional radios, so like some of that radio issue might get worked out here in the coming months, that there might be more resources available where we can start passing them out. But right now, like 2 interim positions going on, especially interim emergency manager, that some of this radio issues that we've had is like, it's not April's fault that it's this, we just need to get through this part.
So can us people over here just get our own radios instead of waiting here 2 months? Because we're still in high fire danger. It's not like we have 2 months to wait.
I have no problem you buying your own radio, but some of these radios are fairly expensive.
Better than your house or your farm burning down. Trust me.
What kind of a price do you put on someone's life? Why hasn't there been someone manning the firehouse here in Kismet 24/7?
Could I speak first?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Susan Lewis, and I have a voice here, okay? And some of this is in shorthand as I was hurriedly writing, so I don't know. I do think, I love the farmers and your willingness, but I also think that it's a crying shame that we are even having to discuss this tonight. I sound like my mom when I say crying shame. I think it's a crying shame that we don't have somebody in this new fire station right over here. In my tax dollars, I'm retired now, but I still pay tax dollars. And we have this fire station that everyone in this room and in this town pay for. And you guys need to get a backbone and put somebody over there, okay? I've talked to some of you on the phone, and I know where you're limited, but, and if it's Brady, you get a backbone and you tell somebody, because you have $1 million budget, right? And you've got the money to put someone over here. I want someone over here. Do I have an amen? I want someone qualified, and I have heard that, I wasn't at the meeting the other night where they're talking about starting a fire department here. Yeah, and I don't know the logistics, I don't know how it would be paid for, but Rod would tell me better than that, but I don't know how the money will be doled out for a rural fire district, but I know the money is there in the county. I know you're having budget problems, but I want someone here, and I want someone here 8 to 5, and then these farmers would know, hey, there's no one, and we've got a red flag day, and on a red flag day, we could have someone here 24/7. Hyro, do you agree?
I think you'll probably work something out.
I do too. I do too. And these people are willing to work, and if you guys are, then by George, let's get some volunteer fire department people like we used to have who ran off. And, but we're not gonna go there. But it's in the budget, and I want it back. When our children, who just turned 41, were in, I found the paper clipping. It was when Liberal was wanting to take over the county fire department. Y'all are probably too young for that. But we made the front page paper because we did not want to combine with Liberal. We want our own fire department. We want our own county fire department. The fire, this lady right here in front, the fire was very, very close to her house, very close. It was a block from my house, and it was almost in my son's front yard. Thank you, firefighters. And there were some maintainers. We've got one right here and one here. And as they were coming down our road, I threw them kisses. I didn't know what else to do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
I have a question for you. What would it take to bring the volunteer fire department back?
Well, I think in my world, I already had a talk. Yes, when we come back, I don't want to go back to the old days, but I don't want to, we're looking forward. But yes, we have 1 or 2 people here, but we have volunteers that live here, and they can drive any truck we have, not restricted to what they can do, short of their training. You know, every surrounding county, has a volunteer. I don't think any other county, I don't think Meade County, Haskell, Stevens, they don't have full-time county fire departments to my knowledge. So, you know,
So does the rest of y'all feel like that? I mean, all the rest of the commissioners, we've heard this opinion, but are you all on board with bringing volunteers back?
Yeah, I think that's the commitment. I'm not speaking for Brady, but Brady's the interim fire chief, and I think I don't think it's like it was in the past. We're all for volunteers. I've talked to Greg. I think Greg, people, Winkler, people to know. I think you guys have to start here. We need to figure it out. And, Brady's not opposed to it. We have equipment here. We have more fire trucks than we have full-time firemen,
But
so.
you're the boss, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We can. We've talked, I guess what I'm saying is, we need to figure it out. And I've got, I've talked to Greg and Chris, and you have people here that know more about fires and how that works than me. I think with their help, we can do it. And I don't know why, to Rocky's point, why tomorrow we can't have just a text list. Rocky, John, I see Jeff Hedrick, people that have this, I mean, whoever, but that should be able to happen tomorrow until this phone system gets figured out, we move to the next step. I mean, there's stuff that can be done right now.
The phone system, we have a program called HyperReach, and it would take probably an hour to get that set up. That's an easy.
And so the communications in Liberal has that, yeah, that should be something we can do tomorrow until we get our full system in. I think it can be, I'm not saying it'll be easy, but we need to put the effort in and figure it out.
And I can take Brady around. I got 3 or 4 quick fills, 2-inch, 3-inch spots. You know, that you just go turn a valve and you got water. You don't have to call me, just go get it. Easy to get to.
You done?
I'm done for now.
I'd also throw this out there just to address something Rocky was asking about, is radios that are compatible with our radio system can be purchased for about $250 a piece. I don't know that that's a huge amount of money. In my opinion, it's not.
What about the programming fee? I mean, will they be programmed or do they need to be programmed?
Another $50 or $75, something like that.
Greg, what about all the radios that are in storage at emergency management? Are any of those compatible?
You know, I don't know what's there now, so to be honest. There should be, I don't know what belongs to nowadays, whether emergency management retains anything or not, but there was probably 15, maybe.
There's,
And to my knowledge, the fire department had 30 of the old ones. The issue with those is they can't be encrypted. However, they function perfectly otherwise. They have about 120 different channels. The state provides something like 40 channels that are statewide channels that can be utilized for fires or other emergencies. And certainly you can have new talk groups and put in place. That's probably take a month, but the stuff that's out there right now, you can just use. And the state channels are very, very seldom used, so they're pretty wide open. So I think that's also a pretty easy fix. That's my opinion.
So, in the meantime, while we're trying to get things lined out here, is the county fire department, are they fully staffed? Are you guys full? So we're looking for people to be firefighters. What I'm getting at, if you was fully staffed, maybe you could send a guy or two over here to get us through a comfort spot here until we get things ironed out. I mean, what's it take to get that to where we are fully staffed as a county fire department?
Just so everyone knows where I'm coming from, like, my responsibilities, not just Kismet, it's the entire county. And I'm hesitant to send only one person over here because we've had problems with that throughout the years. Not just one single year, it's been throughout the years. So when we get down to a certain number, I need at least 3, like 4 is better to have in Liberal, just for the sake of we can get certain trucks out to respond to, because we don't only do grass fires, we do structure fires and we do vehicle accidents. We actually do quite a bit of vehicle accidents. So if we get down to too low in Liberal, and I don't want you to take offense to me saying Liberal, but that's where some of our trucks are, that I can't get enough trucks out to some of these vital calls.
True.
And that's why Kismet hasn't been staffed.
Yeah. Well, that's just, I guess that's what we gotta get staffed so we can have somebody over here that's got a little knowledge. I mean, you got the volunteers here ready to do stuff, I think. And it's just getting somebody over here to kind of walk everybody through, because, I mean, I wouldn't know what to do. Start the truck up and just go start spraying water, I mean, but, you know, we gotta get some kind of help over here to help these volunteers to walk them through this stuff. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's something that the county needs to look at is helping the fire department get fully staffed. I don't know if it's wages, I don't know if you just don't have the people.
They're down
but we
one
gotta do
person,
something to help
one
them
person.
out.
We eliminated one person due to budget constraints. So they eliminated a position and then we're down one
I don't know
position.
where, I mean, I understand your budget constraints, I get that. But when you talk about people's houses and stuff like that, what, I mean, maybe we need to adjust the money a little differently. I mean, I'm just the outsider looking in, I pay my taxes, and I'm wondering why we don't have more to do with. I don't know, I mean, I know the cost of living's gone up, everything's gone up, but we gotta get stuff straightened out. And that comes to the county commissioners getting this lined out. You gotta get this figured out, because we're hurting.
We do have it figured out. It's a
You do?
communication issue. And we're gonna work on the communication issue, but no, we cannot, we need a dozen volunteers.
If you keep your firefighters in liberal only, you will always have a response time issue out here. And that's true for all emergency management. So that's why at Southwestern Heights High School and USD 483, we have a school resource officer now. So you have people who live in this area that you need to take care of. So, and I think that that's something you need to take into consideration.
I'm arguing that we keep a person here. Used to be two, now one, but then we'd love to have a dozen volunteers tomorrow, but it may take a bit to get volunteers. We need volunteers in every part of the county, not just Kismet.
I'm new to the community, I've met several of you, and hi. And I have done a lot of community involvement before we moved here. We're new just to Kansas even. And so what I'm hearing tonight is like two separate things going on.
Right.
The tax issue and commissioner issue, but also you keep saying communication and there's a whole room of volunteers here. That's why they're here tonight. So we need to bridge that gap that there is what the volunteers, they're gonna do it anyway. If their farms are on fire, their neighbor's farms are on fire, they're gonna be out there anyway. So you have the volunteers. You're saying communication is the issue. You have the room full of volunteers.
No, I'm not arguing.
How do we bridge that gap? That's the question.
I mean, that's getting the list together. We kind of got this dumped on our laps unknowingly. I'm not gonna but I guarantee you,
Okay.
four of the commissioners up here tonight stepped up in an emergency.
How do I volunteer to make that list?
The list is started. If people want, we have pads of paper tonight. If people that are willing to volunteer want to put their names down with a phone number where we can contact you.
How do I help make the list? How do I give you guys the help so that
We'll start a phone tree.
The only thing I have to say about just letting any volunteer hop in a truck and drive it, we do have to have people covered on our insurance. We can't just let any person off the street jump in a fire truck, and they have to have some training. I will give you an example. I responded to Beaver County 3 years ago maybe, and we had volunteers similar to what we have in this room that just started hopping on trucks. They didn't have any fire gear on. They had a little gal from Balco that hopped on the truck. They had her on the back of the truck as they're driving through the fire, and she couldn't figure out how to turn the pump on to spray water on the fire.
Right.
She put her life at risk as well as the others.
Right.
We had trucks that burned down, people that had to crawl out of the fire because they didn't have the proper training.
Right.
You can't just stick anybody on a fire truck and say, oh, hey, Joe Blow off the street can go drive a fire truck. That's
They're
not the
asking for
case.
Communication.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody saying they want to jump in a fire truck, that they want to.
Well,
offer
that
you
happened,
water.
that happened the day of the Kismet fire.
So,
And so,
I'm
yeah,
just saying, I
yeah.
understand there's liabilities.
Yeah.
But we can bridge this
Now,
communication gap.
having a list of tankers. You know, when we had the February 17th fire, those are the things that we open an emergency operations center, and we can start doing that. That's what we were trying to do that day. Because we do have a list of people that, and then with the help of the commissioners, we got tankers there. Road and Bridge showed up. I mean, people started showing up. The problem that day was there were so many fires going on that there was no command center. And so everybody that was showing up didn't know where to go or what to do. And so when we have multiple fires going at the same time, that can be a problem. And we had a debriefing with the commissioners, and we discussed how we could do things better after that fire. We had City of Liberal there, the county, communications, LEPC members, which is your local emergency planning committee. And it's made up of several different agencies as well as industries in the community, like your electric company, your gas companies. National Beef has a representative. Conestoga ethanol plant had somebody there. Trying to think of who else. Anyway, those industries come to those meetings too because they need to have a plan in place if something happens. So, I mean,
April,
yes.
You said the day of our fire here in Kismet, someone jumped on a truck.
No, they wanted to.
Oh.
Yeah. We had 2 individuals that wanted to jump on a truck, and we can't just allow somebody to take.
You know that for a fact, or you just heard that?
No, we know that for a fact.
I think it's probably relevant to say that maybe if those trucks had already responded, nobody would have wanted to jump on them. The fact that they're sitting there and they're not responding creates that issue. To talk a little bit about training, let's say 15 years ago or thereabouts, probably half or maybe a little more than half of the volunteers from Kismet were nationally certified firefighters. And so I shouldn't, but I take just a little bit of offense to somebody telling me that we trained a guy for 2 weeks at our station and he's way better trained than these volunteers who've spent months and months and months achieving those certifications. I just don't think that's true, but it sounds like that's what's being said. As a result, you know, there's probably 4 or 5 nationally certified firefighters sitting here in this room right now.
Yeah. And there may be people that are trained in here. I don't know what people's training is.
Yes, but I think the assumption that anybody here is suggesting that they never saw a truck or drove a truck. The biggest thing they drove was a Subaru, and they're going to go jump on this truck and drive into a fire. I mean, that's a ridiculous statement. And nobody has that. Nobody at all.
But I think, Greg, part of that process is now we're trying to go back to the volunteer method. So, yeah, we have to.
To me, that's an easy fix.
You
make the decision.
Like a resume for, we don't know. I'm sure you are, but.
Pasadena, Texas, has a population of about 160,000, has a completely volunteer fire department. There's numerous ones of those across the country. Large city fire departments, 100% volunteer. There's nothing necessarily bad about a volunteer fire department. I've been professional, or I don't want to say professional. I've been full-time departments with people who paid, and they weren't very good, and they weren't very safe, and they were kind of a problem. And I've been to volunteer departments just like that, but I've also been to excellent volunteer departments and excellent paid departments. You make what you have. So if you don't put the effort into making a good fire department, you don't have it. If you put the effort in, you can have it. The other thought I had, and I kind of lost it.
Yeah, we have to open up.
One firefighter 8 to 5 is not going to solve any issues. One firefighter is not going to go out and attack a structure fire or whatever, if you don't have at least two, you're operating below the level of what's acceptable. And realistically, any fire of substance is going to require 6 or 8 people to deal with it at a minimum, and some fires are going to take a lot more than that. However, we do have a miracle thing called mutual aid and even automatic aid, which could be set up so that when there's a fire in Kismet or in the Kismet area, that our dispatch center automatically asks for the Plains station to respond over here as well, or Haskell County if it's north, or Beaver County if it's south. So all of those things can happen. You just have to set the system up that lets it happen. And until you do, it doesn't happen. But it's not something that can't be done. I'd just like to say a few things taking off from what Susan said earlier. We did lose a firefighter to the RNR process. I think as long as we have paid firefighters, the Kismet station needs to be staffed. If we put that person back into the system next year, my belief is that should be staffed with 2 people, a minimum of 1 shift a day. And the numbers I looked at, that was entirely possible. What does putting that firefighter back in the system cost? When we ran the numbers, in round numbers, it cost a farmer about $15 a quarter to have that extra person in the system, and that's a decision the voters can make, but that's roughly what it would cost. You put that system in place along with the volunteer support system, and I think you solve these problems. I mean, I live further from the Seward County Fire Station than anyone else in this county. Anyone. If I catch on fire and they're coming from Liberal, it's all over by the time anybody gets there. I get it. And it's, I know a lot of you people right here in Kismet have the same feeling. So I think it's a matter of deciding, which of these paths you want to go down. And I think the commission will support your decision. I'm just speaking for myself, but I think that they would.
I think it would be helpful if, as you pass the list around, if you're willing to volunteer, you know your name, your number, so that we know how to get a hold of you and how you're interested in being a volunteer, whether it's a farmer with a disc or whether you have a tanker or whether you're willing to train and know how to fight on the front line, or maybe you already have that experience. Like Greg said, I don't know who has what training, but that would help us know too, like what area you're willing to, or that you could volunteer in immediately. Because I hear a lot of you saying, we need to do this immediately. We kind of need to know of the people that are here, what area you plan to volunteer in.
So Greg, if you go on the county website, fill out the volunteer application form, your training's up to date. As soon as you get on the county insurance and get some gear, then you can fight a fire. Is that right, Greg, Brady?
In training.
I mean, are your certificates, I guess they're stamped, or your training, I mean, if you have that, some of you probably on another volunteer right now.
Okay.
Is that correct?
It could be correct.
Ask your chief.
Well, I guess I'm asking, is that, I mean, if their certificates, their training's up to date, if they get on the county insurance, as long as that takes and get the gear, then they should be, if their training's sufficient, they're good to go, right?
I think everyone probably needs to go through our standard procedure. Usually they have to attend 3 trainings before we just let them loose. That way they're used to how things are operating, and that way we're not throwing them in a dangerous situation and them getting themselves hurt. But that's usually what we've been doing with volunteers. Once they've attended their 3rd training, then they can start responding to calls and kind of ease them into it to make sure they don't get themselves hurt. And they've kind of let us know what they're comfortable with. If they want to get on the back of a crash truck, then we start putting them on that. If they only want to do water supply, then that's what we focus on, and they drive with someone to a call and from a call until our senior, like usually it's a more senior volunteer, says, hey, this guy can drive, and then we let him loose where he can start driving the calls. So kind of have a standard procedure, that we just ease people.
What trucks are here now, do you know?
There's an engine, a ladder truck, and 3 grass trucks.
I think your question was, is the ones we have here, it's all trained and had been certified, right?
I'm saying, yeah, that's what I'm asking. Could you just hop in and go, or, I mean, yeah, I don't know, or you could do 3 trainings in a week, I guess, and familiarize yourself with Brady's equipment. I don't know. I've seen how long it would take if you've been through the training.
It's actually, the ones that's trained right now, can they go ahead and get cert or start right now, right?
That's how I took it, but I can understand his point where he wants to make sure you're familiar with his equipment versus yours. I get that too, but it shouldn't take that long, I guess, in my mind. If you have the fire certification.
You got people in this room that's been volunteers for years.
That's what I'm saying. You could be on some other department right now. I
How
get
long does it, they're not stupid.
No.
How long does it take to show them a fire truck and they're like, well, absolutely.
I've never been on one. I don't know, but I get your
I don't have a
point.
clue.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue, but I know that there's people in this room that have been doing it for 15, 20, 30 years.
I guess that's what I was trying to get to. Is it something that can happen fairly quick?
This is not like a 3-week training. A training day this week, and next week, and next week. That's a bunch of BS. I mean, I don't know what your 3 training sessions are about, but I mean, there is no reason that these volunteers that are in this room that's been doing it for years, you couldn't go over there right now after this meeting, show them this truck, and they're going like, I've done this before. I mean, they're not going to be arrogant about it. They're going to understand that they're there to follow your guidelines, but this 3-4 week training deal, that's a waste of time.
What is the requirement to be a volunteer? Do you have to meet so many times? Do you have to be at so many fires or your kickoff? How does that work if you're a volunteer for Seward County Fire Department?
We do not follow national requirements. ISO suggests that a volunteer within their first year get 240 hours of training. Now, all we've ever required over the past few years is that they attend our monthly training. And our monthly training's 3 to 4 hours on a night session. It's like every second Monday of every month, full-time and volunteers meet and they train for 3 to 4 hours on whatever topics we have for that night. But we are nowhere close to the ISO standard of 240 hours for a new volunteer. If you're a new driver, you're supposed to have 60 hours of training, and that takes a hit every time we have someone that's not meeting these training hours. Like the only ones that are meeting training hours are full-time people because they can get 300 hours of training a year. So it's hard for a volunteer to even get close to those training hours that ISO is saying you're supposed to be having.
ISO also requires 4 firefighters per station.
The 240 hours is the initial training, right? What's your annual training after that?
I'm supposed to have 18 hours per year in structure fire training and then 16 hours per month in crew training.
A month?
Yeah.
How many people here are certified volunteers right now? I don't know who you are and who's got the training. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7.
Yeah, I guess I don't understand why we have volunteer firefighters in this building that are working in other counties. Why do we not have a volunteer fire department? I mean, when did that go away? My dad was the assistant fire chief for 30-some years and missed a ton of birthday parties, Christmas, Thanksgiving, T-ball games, because he was fighting fires. I couldn't even have fireworks as a kid because he was out, fighting fires on 4th of July until the wee hours of the morning. So, I mean, I see people in this room and they're fighting fires for other counties, but they live in this county. So we got to figure something out. And I'm also the principal at Kismet Elementary, and let me tell you how scared I was when that fire was happening a block away from my building. was ready to evacuate all of my 155 students. Thank God I had 3 buses already in the building, or at my building, and thank God the wind changed. But as a principal, I was scared. But I had no communication. I was on the phone with our SRO, who was my communicator, and I was like, Fanny, what do I need to do? And she was on the phone.